everyone, and welcome back to the Walking Dead series by The Verdict Sin. I'm your host, Nicole.
I'm Gary.
And today we are talking about The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 19, entitled One More. This is our instant cast. We just finished watching. We're going to give our quick, immediate thoughts. Gary, why don't you start us off?
The commercials were great.
All the commercials.
The commercials were great. Now, the show was actually all right. It was start off like extra slow, and it drug on all through the middle, and it ended. Yeah. It was a slow show.
Okay. I thought the beginning was good, and then the whole middle, which is like 90% of this series or the show, was not good, and then the ending was good.
What do you think was good about the beginning?
The beginning, there was something I liked. I'll have to rewatch it because when it started, I remember saying, ooh, I like this start. I remember thinking that those first few minutes. I can't remember exactly what it was.
The fighting scene?
Maybe it was the fighting scene. No, because they started off with them fighting all the walkers.
Right.
And then maybe I liked them throwing the timer. And they just looked exhausted. I don't know. I remember when it first started, I was like, okay, this is a vibe. I'm feeling it.
You probably had a good feeling about it.
Yeah. When you were saying that, it was just a feeling about what expectations or what was to come.
Yeah, you got excited a little too soon.
Okay.
So you were feeling good, like, ooh, this is going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I liked the first 5 minutes, and then I liked the last about 10 minutes of the show. So, what did you think of Mace? I believe his name is
Mace.
Yeah.
And his twin brother.
Yeah. Okay. Was that his twin? We were looking at the end when it shows the picture. It looks like his twin brother, and he was the Terminator T2, which is like one of the scariest terms. Which I'm really actually like impressed with the internet because, well, first of all, when it showed him, you're like, I recognize that guy. Who is he? He's on The Walking Dead, or he's from Fear. You're like, you recognized him.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't think he's from anything. I don't know. And then I went on the internet and I kept seeing people talk about the Terminator. And I'm like, okay, this is a weird connection that they're putting Terminator and Walking Dead. I'm not getting the connection yet. And then when he showed up, they were like, this is T2.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I knew he looked familiar.
I don't know. I mean, usually I can recognize somebody, even if it's like 20, 30 years later. But honestly, if I didn't see that, I would have never known that was T2. I mean, T2, this Terminator came out, Terminator 2, 89, I don't know, 93 or some shit. Which, don't get me wrong, it's still one of the best Terminator movies.
It's still a classic.
Yeah, the new one that came out recently, though, I'm telling you, it was almost just as good as T2. Like, it was an all-female cast, and I think that's kind of what got people ugged out about it or whatever. But when I tell you this last Terminator that came out, like in 2018, 2019, whatever, really, really good.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah.
All right, but back to Maze.
Mm-hmm.
I think Maze was a smart individual. We found out later he was a liar, but I think he was a smart individual. He stayed away from him because you can't trust people. So he stayed where he was at, and he listened to everything he was talking about. You can't come down. All the noise you were making, and if it was me and I was by myself, solo up there, I wouldn't have came down either.
Right.
The only issue I have with that scene, or have knowing that he was upstairs, is his brother was still alive. If I'm chained to something, why am I not? I'm not screaming, saying, help me, let me loose.
Right. Well, his brother at that point, if he's been chained up for God knows how many years, possibly. When they went up there, it smelled bad, not only because of the dead bodies, but probably because that brother hasn't been, like, bathed or anything. I mean, look at his hair, his beard. So he barely could talk, you know? So he probably didn't even, and then he's scared of his brother, so he probably thought, if I do this, I don't know, he wasn't in his right mind at this point.
And I wonder, was May's story, was it accurate? Well, I know he didn't kill his brother, but everything else. Did his brother try to steal from him, steal his food, and he realized what his brother was? Did his brother try to kill him, and that's why he took out the family? Or was he like everyone else that we've seen? Did he just... Because we've seen it already. We've seen on top of the building, there was somebody chained up, and the family was in the bed dead, like they committed suicide or whatever.
Right. But it said save us also on the roof.
Right. So is it a scene like that? That he chained his brother up and he just killed the family just to save him?
And made him watch.
Well, I'm not going that far.
No, that is, the brother said that. He made me watch.
Well, that's not where I'm getting at. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm getting at, why did he kill him? Did he kill him for the story that he said, or did he kill him to try to save them? Like other people killed themselves that we seen, like the people laying down in the ground with flowers and stuff on them.
To save them the heartache and...
Right.
Nah, I mean, because, no, I mean... First of all, he didn't really say he killed his brother. They said, what did you do? And he said, I handled it the way I should have handled it, or whatever he said. He didn't say I killed him. He said I handled it, or did what I need to do.
Okay.
But I would say in this case, whether it's true what his story was as far as the brother came after me and ate my food, who knows? Did the brother eat his food and then he catch his brother and was about to kill his brother, so then his brother retaliated with a knife? Like, how did it escalate? Or did the brother eat his food and then... But it just sounds sort of petty, but at the same time, I've never had to starve to where I'm having my last food and someone's about to take it, you know? So the mindset that they're in, I can't even comprehend if that's your last freaking can of beans or something. Yeah, at the same time, it seems like they would all been sharing their food like a community if they're all living together.
Right. And they had a whole boar. A whole boar inside the closet.
They may not have that boar at that time.
I'm not saying they had it at that time, but if you're able to, they died right there. So apparently, if you're able to go out there and go hunting and catch a boar, the boar's been there. You could have caught anything else around there. So yeah, it is a petty thing to say this is my last piece of food. When he obviously know how to hunt, he caught a boar.
Well, that might have came years later. I mean, look at what Gabriel can do now versus when we met Gabriel.
I would think the food was there, like more food was there early on. I would think it's getting scarce now.
Yeah.
But if his brother was chained up for years, I'm pretty sure there's way more food out there.
Right. Now, do you think Gabriel... Well, before we get to that, Gary and I both predicted our most likely to die last week. For this week's episode, I had Gabriel, you had Aaron.
Yes.
Which were pretty much the only characters on the screen this week, except for Maze. The whole time we were watching, I kept thinking Gabriel's going to die. Gary kept thinking Aaron's going to die.
Yeah.
Did you think one of them were going to turn on each other when they were having to do like the Russian roulette? Like that, I was like, couldn't breathe.
No. I never thought any of them would turn.
Even when Mace was like, what about little Gracie? You want to see her?
I didn't think he was going to turn.
Okay.
I thought he was going to shoot himself. And I was like, okay, Gary, you might be right for once.
Well, why didn't they try to shoot Mace? Or they wouldn't have been quick enough. He would have, if he saw the gun going towards him, he would have shot them probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the entire time, like, hey, you have a gun in your hand. Gabriel's distracted him. Why don't Gabriel jump up? Why don't you push the gun up and Gabriel jump and grab? Well, they could have did something.
Yeah. I mean, you never know what you would do unless you're in that situation. But I wouldn't have played that game, or at least that's my mindset. Like, I'm not playing this game with you. I guess we're both going to have to die because I'm not pointing a gun at my head, and I'm not going to point a gun at my friend's head. Like, how would you even go home after that? Like, it was either me or him. Like, no, it's not. Some things are not.
Well, I think that's why they pointed at themselves.
But I wouldn't have been able to do that either. So I would have been like, I'm glad our last night
I would probably prefer you to go home than me go home. They probably both had that mindset, like, you know what, we just have to take his word at this moment.
I couldn't do it.
So you just gonna get us both killed.
I guess so. Because sometimes if whoever lives, how do you live after something? I mean, well, I guess they've been through so many traumatic things already. But I just, no, I'm not playing this game with you.
So how do you live knowing the other person killed himself to save you?
Yes. It just be too much.
A lot of people has killed themselves or died trying to save everybody. A lot of lives have been lost.
There's one thing of trying to save someone, but playing this sick game of a torture game, no, we're not doing it. That's my opinion. But do you think Pastor Gabriel has gone full bad? Is he villain? Is he a villain?
No.
Is he Anakin? What is he willing to do?
He was willing to do the right thing. I think he did the right thing.
Okay.
After the guy told that story, there's no coming back from that story. Sooner or later, it's going to be somebody else.
But haven't they all done some shit? Like because the way the guy's story went, it was like self-defense. He said he ate my food, and then he came at me with a knife.
So why did he kill his family?
Okay, so I missed that part.
And that's the part. Why would you kill his entire family? Because he came at you.
I missed
or he
that
ate your
part
food.
with him saying that. Because then when Gabriel was like, he killed his brother's family, I'm like, oh, did he? I'm like, did I miss him saying that? So, okay.
Yeah, you missed it.
Okay.
So Gabriel can't take any chances.
Yeah.
Like, I understand if it was self-defense and you just killed your brother or you had to defend yourself and your brother died. But why did your brother, wife, and daughter have to die?
Yeah. But with them talking about, like, I think it was Aaron saying you don't think things will go back to normal, which is ironic they're having this conversation because, you know, for the past year, everyone has been having the conversation of when things go back to normal, to the point where eventually people start saying, okay, we'll never go back to our old normal. So with that happening in today's world, when Gabriel and them were talking, and Aaron were talking about, I'm like, there ain't no way y'all going back to normal. We only 1 year in apocalypse. Y'all are like 10 years in an apocalypse. It ain't never going back. Like, so Gabriel was right in a sense that it'll never be the same. I don't know if I necessarily agree with him that people, the evil people, like, are the rule, not the exception, because you got to be kind of, not necessarily evil, but you got to change. You can't be the same person, you know, like Rick. He's not taking chances anymore. We've seen him go against his word and kill people after the fact. Or was it Daryl that did? One of them did something similar to what Gabriel did this week. They told the person, yeah, something, come out, we won't kill you, and then afterwards killed him.
I think that was Rick.
Yeah.
It was Rick, wasn't it?
I think it was Rick, like season 8, maybe.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Part of me, I'm wondering, is Gabriel turning into a villain, or...
I don't think he's turning into a villain. I think he was right. He's being realistic.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to preach about things coming back, preach about hope and everything, when really they're just hoping to survive another day.
Right.
I mean, things that are in the Bible don't actually... Well, I guess it can apply. But you know how people say being fruitful and all this other good glamour stuff that you read in the Bible?
Yes.
And right now, it's not applying to their world.
Yeah.
I mean, they are starving. They're hungry. They are looking for food right now because it's turning into a wasteland. It's dried up. I don't truly believe that things can never go back to normal or things can't go back to the way they were. Like, I mean, the world was built. And anything that's been built can be built again. Cars, gas, all this, you know, electricity, everything. If it was built, it could be built again. So it can't go back, but will it? Will people allow it to? Because there's some people out here loving this. They're loving the Wild Wild West.
Right.
They're tired of laws, tired of rules.
Similar to what Mike talked about last week.
They want to be rebels.
Right. Right. This is their time to live exactly the way they want to live.
Right.
And do all the crazy things they want to do.
It's time for them to feel like they're on top of the food chain.
Right. Now, will Gabriel continue to wear the collar?
Yes.
I have a feeling we won't see that collar any longer. I have a feeling that he's going to put it down.
I mean, according to you predict he's going to die every week. So you know. That's your prediction every week.
My prediction's about to get stronger. It's about to get that someone in our group may actually have to put Gabriel down.
Really?
Yes.
So you think Gabriel's going to go villain?
I think he's going to go villain. I
think you're tripping. But if it happens, you know, I mean, I'm going to give you props. Like, oh, Nicole saw it. But it's not going to happen. So I'm going to hold on to those.
I see the writing. It's on the wall. I see it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I kind of, with us talking about just for these few minutes that we have, I'm thinking maybe I like the episode a little bit more, or I feel like there's just so much more to dig into. Because Gabriel at one point had like a long little speech with him and Aaron, and I like blinked out from that.
Fell asleep.
Like, wait, after he was talking, I was like, well, what did he say? I was like, man, y'all got me. What was, when Gabriel talk, I usually kind of tune out because it just be on some mumbo jumbo, heal the world type bullshit. So I do need to go back. I watched the episode again, and I think this is going to be a perfect episode to kind of do a deep dive, and see what we have to say about what they were talking about, because the conversations they were talking about were relevant.
Yeah, they were.
And then see T2. Mace. See him again.
Oh, T2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just watch T2. That's a classic. I don't think that will ever be old. Like, you could still watch that movie today and it looks good. So, all right, you guys. Well, if you would like to be part of the podcast, we would love to hear from you. dead@theverdictsend.com. That's dead@theverdictsend.com. Or you can hit us up on facebook.com/verdictsend or on Twitter @theverdictsend, and we will discuss your feedback on the podcast.
Right.
We'll be back later this week, so check us out. Hit us up as soon as you can. Until then, I'm Nicole.
I'm Gary.